Can you break down, can you give us like a Reader's Digest version of how all that happened?
Okay, yeah, breakdown. So, okay, 2008, we start writing the screenplay for AAKHARI Decision. At that point, I invested my own money. I hired a screenwriter and gave him the parameters. I said, this is the story I want to tell. And, as an independent filmmaker, it's really important that when you're working with a screenwriter, you let them know the parameters. Because if the screenwriter comes back and says, okay, opening scene, spaceship lands, and alien comes out and blasts somebody with a laser rifle, you're like, okay, well, there's your whole budget of the film in the opening scene, so you're done. So I just told the screenwriter the parameters. I said, look, pal, this is the reality of it. We're going to shoot here, we're going to shoot here, we're going to shoot there. This is the story I kind of want to tell. Give me a screenplay that's going to work for that. So once the screenplay was done, and that was my own personal investment, so I had skin in the game. So that was key. That's point number one. If you want to make a film, you got to put something into it. You got to put some personal sacrifice has to go into it, because if you go to a financer without personal sacrifice and without being professional, no one's going to really think you're legitimate, especially if you don't have any connections. So, point number one is be professional, and you need to take risk on your own project. That's critical. It's easy to play around with somebody else's money. Very easy, and a lot of people in this industry do, and they're not professional in my opinion. So be professional, put some skin in the game, and then see if you can get the financing. We happen to be able to get 80% of the financing from non-traditional investors, and once we had that financing, we shot the film. We were very realistic on our target audience at that point, which was going to be a foreign category. I didn't feel like as a first-time filmmaker I would have a chance of competing here in Hollywood. I figured I needed to find a way that I could make a film that would be appreciated abroad, and my strategy was a little different. In retrospect, maybe I would have just done more of a Hollywood-centric film, but I chose to do a film that would be more world-friendly, not heavy on the sex, not heavy on the violence and the swearing, but still compelling, still an action drama film. Once we accomplished that film, I guess the Reader's Digest point two would be when you're distributing your film, you got to be involved in every step. Otherwise, you're going to get ripped off. So yeah, your money's going to go into somebody else's pocket. So especially with foreign distribution, you have to be involved with everything. You have to know what theaters the film is being played in. You have to know how much money that theater is making. So it's once again a logistical nightmare, because for you to keep track of the funds of a film so you can actually make a profit off of it is crazy. A lot of times I hear filmmakers say, oh well, we have a distributor and they distribute the film for us, but it didn't make any money. And my question is, well, how come it didn't make any money? How do you know? Oh well, they told us it didn't. So you have to have full transparency with your distributors, and if you don't, you're going to get taken for a ride. So these guys who say like, hey, we have this strategy, we're going to give you a report every quarter, unless they're fully transparent, either sell it outright, but don't go for a percentage. So that's the big point for filmmakers out there. Don't do it. I'm telling you right now, don't do it, because you're going to end up with the short end of the stick. So, we got the funding, and we made a profit by choosing to focus on foreign sales at that point. And then we moved on to The Black Russian. The Black Russian came about because there was actually a couple theaters in the north of India that were playing the film for over a year. So I was really interested in trying to figure out, like, well, why would anybody want to play my film for over a year? Because I was, I'm pragmatic. I'm a realist. I'm like, well, that's weird. I found that very strange. So I took a trip to go up into this part of India to find this theater, which the film was still playing. Like, it's like a cult favorite. And I was like, well, why is it a cult favorite here? What is it about the people here that appreciate the film? And I thought I could learn something. Like, maybe I could learn something, by watching these people that so that way I could emulate that in the next film, but extrapolate that to a larger audience. On my journey there is when I encountered a lot of, problems which I saw with drug trafficking in India, and that's where the concept of the Black Russian came about, the current film. So I was investigating AAKHARI decision when the whole impetus and idea of the Black Russian occurred, and then when I got back to the United States, we started the screenplay for that, and I knew where to put the money now, as opposed to just sitting on it.